We are coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios. This is Prime News on SABC 3. Here's what's dominating in your leads at this hour.
This is not the end of the road for the DA, and it's certainly not the end of the road for me. The way I see it is that there's an important next mission that beckons for our party.
First up, Democratic Alliance leader John Steenhuisen says that he will not be seeking a third term at the helm of the party.
Who was the deputy minister at that stage who you understood to have pressurized General Sabia?
Mr.
The Matlanga Commission has heard of the magnitude of SAPS resources used to nab blogger Musa Kawula after alleged pressure from Deputy Minister Kasel Matale.
We are deeply concerned that the interim report is not being made public and that some implicated persons have not yet been heard in full before the Commission.
And the EFF says that it will not tire until the Phala Phala judgment is released and is calling for the Matlanga interim report to be made public. From the corridors of power to the streets of our cities, we bring you the stories that shape our world. A very good evening to you and welcome to Prime News on SABC 3. My name is Beki Mutumomolete and I'm honored to guide you through today's agenda. Let's take a look at your leads. Democratic Alliance leader John Steenhuisen says that he will not be seeking a third term at the helm of the party. He made the announcement at a media conference in his hometown of eThekwini. Steenhuisen hailed his tenure as a historic success, having delivered on his 2019 promise.
This is not the end of the road for the DA, and it's certainly not the end of the road for me. The way I see it is that there's an important next mission that beckons for our party.
After 2 terms at the helm, Steenhuisen has bowed out. He thanked his supporters and constituencies for their unwavering loyalty during his tenure. His announcement comes at a time when he is facing public scrutiny after allegations that he misused a party credit card for personal expenses. He was, however, cleared after an internal investigation by the party. The resignation of Dr. Dion George as the Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment last year was said to have caused tensions within the party. Dr. George had made several allegations against Steenhuisen, including financial mismanagement.
I now have another mission, and it is urgent. For the rest of this term of office, I will focus all of my time and energy as Minister of Agriculture on defeating the most devastating foot-and-mouth disease outbreak our country has ever seen.
Steenhuisen said he will fully support the next party leader.
The next duly elected DA leader can rely on my full support and will be given the space to lead the party as they see fit.
The DA's next Federal Congress will take place in April. For SABC News, I am Jade Paulser in Durban.
Next up, the Matlanga Commission has heard of the magnitude of SAPS resources used to nab blogger Musa Kawula after alleged pressure from Deputy Minister Kasel Matale. This as Witness F was probed over WhatsApp exchanges from his phone, which showed that he sent Kawula's arrest warrant to alleged cartel member Vusimuzi Ket Matlala, and that alleged political influence may have triggered the arrest of Kawula.
The Matlanga Commission has heard how Deputy Minister of Police Kasel Matale allegedly applied pressure on now suspended Deputy National Commissioner Lieutenant General Shadrik Sabia to arrest blogger Musa Kawula after criminal complaints were opened by ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula and businessman Zeng Umalo.
Your evidence was that it was reported to you by General Sabia that he had been pressurized by the Deputy Minister to do this.
That's correct.
And who was the Deputy Minister at that stage who you understood to have pressurized General Sabia?
Mr. Kasel Matale.
The Commission further heard that Witness F embarked on giving effect to this arrest on his day off while he was biking and allegedly roped in other units to pounce on the blogger, who was not posing any physical danger.
You had a Hawks officer, you had the Gauteng tracking team. What risk or danger did Mr. Kaula pose?
Because I've communicated prior to Brigadier Ramangwa that I don't have manpower or crew at that time. So I assumed that he phoned the tracking team because the tracking team was user-friendly to him. Most of the cases he was using the tracking team.
WhatsApp exchanges further reveal that Witness F sent the Kaula arrest warrant to alleged cartel member Vusimuzi Kat Matlala, an act which raised red flags to the Commission's bench.
If you were giving him this document to effect an arrest, you were basically asking him to do something that's not authorized by the warrant, and therefore that is unlawful.
The hearings continue. Kani Mapanga, SABC News, Pretoria.
Meanwhile, members of Parliament's ad hoc committee, separately investigating the same allegations, are divided over how to handle a complaint brought forward by witness Peladi Matswale, who broke down during her testimony over alleged cybercrime threats and stalking. Some committee members argue that Matswale should have been formally sworn in, noting that the names of individuals were mentioned publicly and raising concerns about the apparent inaction of the police in investigating her case. Committee members are now demanding the original statement rather than an affidavit to ensure that proper procedures are followed.
Chair, I think I, for one, understand where you are coming from. Number one, we are the People's Parliament. So it won't be prudent for us to chase people away, to turn them away, when they come with their personal issues, even if they do not fall within the scope of our terms of reference. People who are supposed to do that is our technical team, together with our legal team.
I beg to differ. Now that we have sight of this document in front of us, we must first question why it was sent to us just before midnight. Was the intention for us not to really have time to peruse it? We received these documents this morning. Now that we have sight of it, this is not just a complaint. We, in good faith, myself in particular, I trusted what I was told, that it's an anonymous witness, and we're going to hear oral testimony.
The EFF says that it will never tire until the Phala Phala judgment is released. Briefing the media post its three-day gathering this weekend, EFF leader Julius Malema is calling for the Madlanga interim report to be made public. The EFF's number one questioned what he termed lack of transparency regarding the preliminary report of the inquiry investigating criminality, political interference and corruption in the criminal justice system.
The EFF is unrelenting over the pending Phala Phala judgment by the Constitutional Court. Party leader Julius Malema says it's concerning that the judgment is still outstanding despite the case being heard in November 2024. Malema argues that a judgment of such a nature involving the country's president should be taken seriously.
This prolonged silence from the apex court therefore undermines public confidence in the judiciary and creates the perception of selective agency when political power is implicated.
Malema also questioned the secrecy behind the Madlanga Commission's interim report. The Commission submitted its interim report to the President on the 17th of December last year.
We are deeply concerned that the interim report is not being made public and that some implicated persons have not yet been heard in full before the Commission. This raises serious questions about transparency, accountability, and adherence to the law of natural justice.
The EFF leader has also raised concerns about what he says is the erosion of Parliament's authority.
It is necessary to note with serious concern the continued erosion of Parliament's authority, particularly following the Speaker of Parliament Didiza's refusal to authorize subpoenas for the Brown Mokgotsi and Paul O'Sullivan.
The EFF plans to picket outside the Constitutional Court every month until the Phala judgment is out. Nhlanhla Khatlhane, SABC News, Johannesburg.
When we return, Ivory Park residents say that they are nearing a third week without water and their lives have become unbearable. More on this after the break. Welcome back to Prime News on 3. Ivory Park residents say that they are nearing a third week without water and their lives have become unbearable. Families say the outage is affecting children who are missing school, as some residents are struggling to find alternative sources of water. They have appealed to local, provincial and national government for immediate intervention, saying even areas that still have water are overwhelmed and difficult to access.
We want our government to tell us the truth. We want to know what is happening. We are struggling here. We now have to buy water and some of us are unemployed.
Businesses in the area have also been hard hit.
We need government to attend this matter very urgently because we have a crisis where the community are no longer getting water. They are just buying it from the buggies.
Local say they are aware of the challenges faced by the community and have tried to offer temporary solutions.
We had roving trucks here. I had individuals from this informal settlement. I had a guy by Lakisha Bangu, who's a resident of informal settlement, that I requested him to personally come and deliver a water tanker here to them specifically yesterday. But moving forward from here, we are dedicated and determined to work with them. I understand their frustration, but we are determined to work with them.
Calvin Ruta, SABC News, Ivory Park in Johannesburg.
The Pietermaritzburg High Court has refused French arms manufacturer Thales and former President Jacob Zuma's leave to appeal in their acquittal application in their arms deal corruption case. Thales brought this application at the beginning of last year, arguing that the death of two key witnesses impacts their right to a fair trial.
Yet another blow for Thales and Jacob Zuma. The pair failed to convince the Pietermaritzburg High Court that another court would grant their application to stop the prosecution of their arms deal corruption case. Thales argued that they won't get a fair trial because two key witnesses, former Thales directors in South Africa, Pierre Meynot and Alain Sittard, have passed away. Judge Cili says he's not convinced that another court will differ from his holistic approach.
In my judgment, I found that the court best suited to decide whether the deaths of Messias Meynot and Sittard has caused Mr. Zuma and Thales irredeemable or insurmountable trial prejudice is a trial court, whose duty it is to consider the impact of the non-availability of Messias Meynot and Sittard in the light of all the evidence presented to court.
Judge Cili says the bar has been raised on the grounds for leave to appeal in a ruling handed down by the Supreme Court of Appeal last year.
It basically says previously when the prospect of success, the bar was a bit low. So if even there's a slight chance that there are prospects that you're going to be successful in the next court, then I must grant you that leave to appeal. But this judgment then says no, we're dealing with a real, based on facts or based on law, chances of making sure that you're going to succeed there.
I'm Nhlanhla Pumakwaza for SABC News in Pietermaritzburg.
In other news, Isuzu Motors South Africa says that expanding into African markets is what kept the company stable despite economic challenges faced by the automotive sector. This was revealed during the State of the Company address in Gqeberha, Eastern Cape. The automotive sector is currently facing mounting pressure from global trade tensions, rising vehicle imports and uncertainty around vehicle export tariffs to the US.
Isuzu Motors has responded to the global tariff tensions by expanding into African markets. Africa has emerged as a key growth region, with regional performance increasing by 24%.
Currently, as we speak, we are 7 OEMs. To me, how we get around some of these things is, instead of having 7 OEMs only, how do we move that number to 10 OEMs? How do we move it to 15? Then make vehicles in South Africa. Because we are in a good position. I mean, we've been manufacturing cars for 100 years in South Africa. And why not set ourselves up to manufacture cars for the continent, where we get some of the vehicles imported, manufactured in South Africa, and then sold into the rest of the continent.
Isuzu SA is also gearing up to launch 2 new generation trucks later this year, designed specifically for the African terrain. Sisipho Ncumbe, SABC News, Gqeberha.
We take a short breather, but before that, International Olympics Committee President stated that the Olympic movement must stay strong, relevant and united in a fast-changing world during the 145th IOC session in Milan. More on this when we return. Do stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. The most prominent son of the late Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi, Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, has been killed. Sources close to the family, his lawyer Khaled El-Zaidi, and Libyan media announced the news yesterday. Details surrounding the circumstances of his death have not yet been made clear. While Saif al-Islam is well known in the North African country, especially for his role in shaping policy before 2011, his public profile has receded in recent years. In 2015, a Libyan court passed a death sentence in absentia on Saif al-Islam for suppressing peaceful protests during the country's 2011 revolution that ended his father's rule. He has also been provisionally charged by the International Criminal Court for alleged crimes against humanity, a case his lawyers failed to dismiss. In 2021, Saif al-Islam registered as a presidential candidate for a December vote that eventually collapsed amid a political deadlock. It is now time for us to take a look at your latest market snapshot, reflecting the day's trading activity as recorded at 7:30 this evening. Let's get into your sports news. International Olympics Committee President Kirsty Coventry has told delegates to the 145th IOC session in Milan that the Olympic movement must stay strong, relevant and united in a fast-changing world. Her address comes amid rising international tensions, specifically around the preparations for the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028.
As the IOC prepares for the opening of the Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Olympics, talk has been dominated by the rising international tensions over preparations for the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028. IOC President Kirsty Coventry urged delegates convening at the Teatro alla Scala in Milan that sport must remain neutral in what she described as a world that is increasingly divided.
The Olympic Games are a celebration of the best of humanity. Athletes from every background and culture living together side by side, respecting one another as fellow human beings. This is the core of our mission.
IOC members raised the issue of entry visas for hundreds of thousands of athletes, their families, officials, media, and fans to the US.
Closely with the State Department on the design of a visa system that would allow athletes in any part of their preparation for the Games to have access through a visa system that was designed specifically for them.
Simon Burke, SABC News.
It is now time for us to take a look at what's happening under the big blue of our southern skies. Your forecast is coming up next.
very good evening and welcome. Let's take a look at what to expect weather-wise for tonight as well as tomorrow. Partly cloudy conditions across most parts of the country. Cloudy at times through the central as well as the southern parts of the country. We do expect isolated showers and thunder showers in places except over the extreme northeastern parts, scattered mainly over the Western Cape, southern parts of the Northern Cape, into the Eastern Cape and the interior of KwaZulu-Natal, while widespread showers and thunder showers are forecast over the western parts of the Eastern Cape. Now tomorrow, still expecting those partly cloudy to cloudy conditions, drizzle along the escarpment of Limpopo, otherwise expecting isolated to scatter showers and thunder showers in places, and then mainly widespread over the central as well as the western interior of the Eastern Cape. Now for this evening, South African Weather Service has issued a yellow level 2 warning for severe thunderstorms over the extreme eastern parts of the Western Cape, the interior of the Eastern Cape and the southern parts of KwaZulu-Natal. Those storms still possible tomorrow, including the extreme southeastern parts of the Northern Cape and the southern parts of the Free State. So those storms possibly resulting in heavy downpours of rain, strong damaging winds, large amounts of small hail or excessive lightning, and then high fire danger conditions through the central regions of the Northern Cape, and that is where runaway veld fires are possible. Overnight temperatures seeing down to 22, 20 in Bloemfontein, 15 is your overnight low in Bethlehem, 5 here in Johannesburg, expecting to start off our morning with a minimum of 17, peaking tomorrow at a warm 30. 31 is your maximum in Pretoria. Going northwards towards Limpopo, expecting those drizzle along that escarpment. 33 is your maximum in Mokopane, Bela peaking at 34. Mpumalanga will be warm to hot, very hot conditions over the northeastern parts. Kukuza peaking at 35. KwaZulu-Natal with showers and thunder showers, expecting hot to very hot conditions. Port Shepstone peaking at 31. The Eastern Cape expecting scattered to widespread showers and thunder showers, warm to hot conditions. Maletswai and Graafrenet peaking at 32. The Western Cape expecting isolated to scatter showers and thunder showers. Will be a warm day along the coastal regions, otherwise warm, hot rather, over the interior. Over the Northern Cape expecting isolated showers and thunder showers scattered mainly over the southern parts of the province, and then over the Free State expecting warm to hot conditions, very hot over the northern as well as the northwestern parts, where Bottoville will peak at 36. And then lastly, the northwest expecting hot to very hot conditions, showers and thunder showers, Swaziland peaking at 34. That's your weather. To stay tuned.
That's how we wrap up this evening, and we thank you for your audience. Be sure to tune in again tomorrow evening. Until then, from myself, Becky, and the team, stay ahead of the curve. Good night.